We're built to run. That's what humans do, right? Bipedally. So it makes sense that you would put that in there, and it seems very practical, right?
Yeah.
You're moving around.
As long as there's a reason behind the distances.
Correct.
Right.
And or the directions. Yeah. And it, again, it needs to make sense. Again, what is the goal?
Yeah. Yeah. So like there's that. And then there's other things that people have been implementing, like because of things like the tactical games, all of a sudden people are implementing farmer's carries, like heavyweight and kettlebell swings, things like that. And there's a place for that in terms of energy system training and maybe even grip training, because like that's kind of an odd thing to do.
That's really practical, and there is a place for it if you're going to go into the tactical games.
Yeah.
But if you're not, I would argue that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say that like most likely some sort of MMA bag or brute force bag would be the go-to for any type of carry. I mean, I guess a couple of carry like kettlebells might be good because I mean you're carrying.
You're just adding external loads.
Yeah, maybe
it might be practical because you have something that's weighted to do that. But
yeah, but I mean, like
carrying
what is it really
thing.
doing? It's kind of taxing the grip a little bit. Like if you're doing some heavy farmer's carries before going into a pistol thing, and you should have strong grip. But I mean, is that something you're training on the range?
Is that a great use of time?
No, it's really not. Like train the grip in the gym. Don't train it on the range. From what I can see, I just don't see that being applicable. Like I said, if you're going to do like some sort of odd object load, like some sort of like sandbag, like a brute force bag or like straight up like punching bags, the different forms of MMA ones, those ones are a little bit more applicable for like what dead weight on like a partner carry would be. That's
what I was just going to go with that. Like if you're in military, law enforcement, and there's a chance you could be carrying heavy cans of ammo, out there you're a war fighter and you're out there on the battlefield. Okay. Maybe there's a time and a place for that. Let's train practically for what that is on the range versus off the range. And certainly if you're in law enforcement, would be much the same as like if you were a firefighter, like you need to be able to potentially drag a body, your buddy, a victim, away from a dangerous situation. And you'd want to be practically trained for that. And there could be a case to be made for you might have to shoot and drag somebody and shoot again. So you'd want to maybe train in that environment so that you know what that feels like. But you're not going to build a high level of conditioning, strength, stamina, and again, competency out there on the range. That shit should be trained in the gym.
Like when you do shit like that, don't think you're doing anything other than creating like an adaptation. And like a small one, I mean, and then just getting that actual experience of what does this feel like with a live gun,
right? You
know what I mean? But again, we have a live gun, so maybe practice that shit with like a cert gun in the gym first,
right? What about the argument that somebody would make? Well, yeah, I mean, but that happens in real life every day. People are not carrying heavy cans, right? And then doing heavy carries or kettlebell swings, and then getting into a gunfight. Yeah. Now there could be a case made for having a wrestling match, right? And doing that. So what that feels like under stress. But again, to your point, there are props you can use that are very, very, very realistic that reduce the risk greatly and allow you to do that in a situation where you can do tons of reps and, get again, that stimulus, that specific adaptation to the imposed demand. And it's going to be more like a mental or a mindset training or an awareness training, not a physical fitness training. You're not going to get that.
I mean, you're going to get some sort of, like I said,
I got to work out for the day. But
you got some sort of conditioning out of it, but it's not the best form of like fitness.